Tonight on News 5 Live, industrial action has been averted as the BBA and the Transport Department resolve a number of issues plaguing the public transportation sector. A 15-year-old is shot and killed while swimming with friends near Guanacaste Park. And the Department of Environment introduces an amendment to the EIA process. But is it fair and constitutional? These stories and more coming up on News 5 Live.
Smart introduces Real Unlimited Postpaid Plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
Taking its name from the venerable father of the nation, the George Price Highway stretches 77 miles from Belize City to Benqueviejo. Originally built in the 1930s, this cross-country highway system is the artery that links Belize to Central America at the western border with Guatemala. That connection facilitates overland trade, supporting Belize's economic development. Winding its way across the scenic countryside, the George Price Highway, from Roaring Creek to Esperanza, has been fully reconstructed to meet international standards, with particular emphasis on road safety. A shorter and hassle-free commute is best enjoyed when everyone obeys the traffic laws. To reduce the number and frequency of road traffic accidents, it means that a seatbelt must be worn at all times, and the speed limit observed when traveling along the highway. It also means that pedestrians must use sidewalks and crosswalks where available. Buses should only board and discharge passengers at a designated bus stop. Road safety is everyone's responsibility. It begins with you.
This newscast is brought to you by the Belize Bank Limited. Our country, your bank. Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Wednesday, February 22nd. I am Sabrina Daly. Earlier this week, the Belize Bus Association issued an ultimatum to the Department of Transport that was sure to result in strike action had those demands not been met. Tonight, there is good news to report as both parties have met to negotiate and agree on certain conditions. Plans for the burning of tires on the highways have since been set aside. This comes about following a meeting this afternoon between a team from the Ministry of Transport and the executive of the BBA. On Monday, bus operators called for the immediate removal of Byron Sanchez, chairman of the Transport Board, within 72 hours for allegedly making single-handed decisions without the board's knowledge. Today, cooler heads prevailed, and following the meeting, the Minister of Transport and the association exited in obvious, pleasant moods. News 5's Marian Ali reports.
The meeting, which lasted roughly 3.5 hours, clearly ended on a positive note, but with set agreements on the part of the Ministry of Transport and the association. Thomas Shaw, president of the Belize Bus Association, shared with the media some of the main points on which both parties agreed.
We came up to an agreement of which I told them that even though we were in there having these meetings, I told them I want to see a press release this evening. I want it in black and white because I don't want us to discuss something in there and then somewhere down the road they change the goalposts. Okay, so with that said, we were asking for a seat to have the guy from the bank have a seat on the board. They agreed to that. We also explained to him the way how the transport board is set up. I let him know that the minister, the CEO, shouldn't be in our meetings. He agreed to restructure the board. He did agree to that because that's one of the main problems. We also asked him for the removal of the chairman. After a long deliberation, we agreed that the chairman will be put on 6 months probation.
Minister of Transport Rodwell Ferguson explained that there will be dire consequences for the chairman of the Transport Board, against whom allegations were made that he was making unilateral decisions that primarily benefit Floralia bus line.
We are going to give the chairman 6 months probation. If he don't improve, then we will have to ask him to leave. But so far, we have agreed, I think, it's 6 months as the chairman of the board.
He's going to call him in and let him know that he has to discontinue what he was doing.
Which was what?
He has to discontinue this behavior because he's the one that is actually making these decisions behind the board's back.
Among the demands made by the BBA was that it needed some form of assurance to take to its lending institution for the loans needed to upgrade the existing fleet of buses. Minister Ferguson explained that there is some breakthrough in that area as well.
So yesterday I went to the National Bank and spoke to Mr. Castillo. So let us have a meeting today to figure out how we can come to terms and how we can provide some kind of financial support to the operators. And so he agreed that he will continue with the e-wallet to also create a ticketing system that the bank collects all the funds if they agree to lend them a loan, and then there'll be a profit sharing at the end of the day. So we're saying every day, once you create a system, the money should be collected, the bank gets a percentage, they get a percentage, and then we move on from there. GM's bus line already have a ticketing system. So it will be extended to all the buses across the country. We agree that within 6 months that we are going to only have 2 bus companies, 2 south, 2 north, 2 west.
Where does Floralia land in these?
2 bus companies, okay? 2 south, 2 north, 2 west. And when those 2 bus companies are formed, then they will run different directions, so that will mitigate the risk on the highway. Everybody should be friends and working together.
What happens to the other bus companies that exist now?
They will be a part of those companies. So the west, I think, will start the first pilot because they almost get it together, and you'll have 2 companies running from the west as running in different directions, so there will be no competition.
What will be interesting to see is how the 50-plus bus operators in northern Belize will merge into 2 companies to offer the services needed in that part of the country.
I said if it is 2 companies, then they will determine how much bus they need to put on between their time. So everybody should be able to get a seat on the bus.
But what if Floralia is the only bus available, let's say for the south, at that specific time when somebody needs to catch it?
And charging $3
or whatever.
Right now, government regulate the price for buses. So once you put the regulation, everybody have to follow suit. Remember, we have tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Tier 1 is premier run, depends on the year bus that you bring. We have the tier 2, which is economy run. So it might be a little less price for the economy, but a better price to ride the premier.
Do you think that Floralia will be on board with this new system?
Of course, everybody have to be on board. It's a president that we're going to set.
Have they been a part of these meetings?
This is only the BBA who control the majority of the operators in the country. Except Floralia. I think they want to be a part of the BBA likewise.
As part of the agreement the 2 parties reached today, the National Bank of Belize, which is the lending institution that will likely finance the investments that the bus operators will make, will also have a seat on the transport board. Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
During the dispute, the BBA also demanded that its members equally enjoy whatever duty exemptions were granted to Floralia to import its fleet of buses. Today, Minister Ferguson said that all the bus companies are entitled to the same privileges.
Every Belizean has a right to apply to the Ministry of Finance for whatever incentive you want. It's up to the ministry to say that you meet the requirements. And so we are telling the operators once they meet the criteria, everybody is liable to get that incentive. As a matter of fact, by August, the new legislation should be passed that incentive will be available for many Belizeans who want to start a business, and they will be part of it.
Following the lengthy meeting, BBA President Thomas Shaw made an appeal to the smaller bus operators to work together with the bigger companies so that there will be a smooth transition to having only 2 bus companies running the 3 routes.
We agreed on the transformation of the industry, that we must form companies, cooperatives, in order to make it work because there's a lot of operators. It's not to say that the operators will be taken out, but the smaller ones that has 1 bus. So operators, if you're listening, this is serious. Let's see how we can solve this situation due to the fact that when there's a lot of operators, there are too many calls to the ministry, and so they rather deal with 1 or 2 companies. Whenever the permit go, instead of dealing with X, Y, Z, Z, you're dealing with 1 or 2 entities. And I think that, so what we have been decided, well, that was one of the recommendations made by the consultants, that form cooperative companies where you have 2 operators in the north, 2 in the south. So it's us for now, it's for us now to come together. We have 6 months to do so. We have 6 months to do so in order to get all the operators on board and to let them know that if you do not form cooperative or be part of a company, then you're out the door.
Coming up, missing man Elric Vires turns up dead. Find out the details when we come back.
Between the Benny's Hurricanes and the Belize City Defenders, they boast a total of 2 BEBL championships. Benny's Belize Hurricanes have 2 and Belize City Defenders a big duck egg. Now if my math is correct, this is the Benny's Belize Hurricane City.
Let's go. All around.
This is the game that the entire commercial capital Belize City has been waiting for. The Clash of the Titans. On Friday, February 24 at the Belize Civic Center. It's your beloved and city favorite, Benny's Belize Hurricanes, going up against their arch rival, Belize City Defenders. The outside breeder. This game is more than basketball because
them not like me, I mean not like them. Them are me enemy, me and them not friend.
It will be a battle to the end, and the Benny's Belize Hurricanes have surpassed all tests. We all know what they can do. The question is, what can the Belize City Defenders do?
Yes, I'm the great pretender.
Halftime show will feature the young and energetic T.Y. dropping his hit song. Also, how about the half-court shot to win a brand new Honda cycle from Benny's? Remember to sign up for the Serena Bay Villas First 5 $4,000 contest. Primary schoolers and high schoolers, bring out your posters and compete for the $500 prize. Lots of phone and tablet giveaways. Courtesy of Smart and Cellular World.
Hurricanes are one big family.
Remember this Friday night at the Belize Civic Center, Benny's Belize Hurricanes versus Belize City Defenders. Gates open at 7, tip-off time is 9.
Belize Hurricanes got the ticket to the rim.
The after party will be at Thirsty Thursdays. Sponsors.
Yo, respect the city. Love the game. Family, Belize Hurricanes. Hurricanes are one big family.
Who offers the best home internet experience? The truth is, Digi, of course. Diginet has the largest fiber network and the fastest speeds with the most reliable service. That's more learning, more earning, more gaming, more bonding, more sharing, getting more things done. And now, Diginet is even more affordable with the new entry plan, a 20 megabits per second fiber connection for just $49 monthly. And increased speeds in all plans. The truth is, only Digi has the ultimate home internet experience, with savings up to $270 when you bundle. Wireless and cable can't give you that. So what are you waiting for? Sign up or make the switch to DigiNet today to enjoy more speeds to get more done. Digi, our national telecom.
Love Your Honda is back. This year, we are spreading the love in 3 locations: Belize City, Cayo, and San Pedro. In February, get special pricing and discounts on all Honda products. Enjoy up to 23% off selected Honda products, 20% off Castrol, NGK, and Magic products. Also, get free oil change and servicing when you spend $100 or more on Castrol oils. And don't forget your B-Bucks when you make a purchase. February is all about Honda. Available at Benquip. Equipment, parts, service.
On March 5th in Belize City, the 94th edition of the Baron Bliss Harbor Regatta takes place off Seashore Drive in the Buttonwood Bay area of Belize City. Come out at 9 a.m. and witness as 6 sailing clubs battle head-to-head for the coveted title of champions and thousands of dollars in cash and prizes. It's a showdown that you won't want to miss, as the spectacular 16 sailing dories from Gales Point, Malantee is back. Come on out and tailgate along the shore or find that perfect spot to barbecue and imbibe while enjoying the sights and sounds of the Baron Bliss Harbor Regatta. Sunday, March 5th at 9 a.m. Sponsors are the Bliss Trust, Honorable Anthony Mahler and the BTB, Mahias United, Honorable Dolores Valderramas Garcia, Bowen & Bowen, and Mr. Wally Brown. Special thanks to the Belize Coast Guard, the Belize Ports Authority, and the Belize City Council.
A teenager is dead and another is hospitalized following a shooting incident in Roaring Creek Village. Information to News 5 is that just before 1:30 p.m., 15-year-old Dane Matute Jr. and Kaylin Wade were swimming with a group in the vicinity of Guanacaste Park when at least 3 shots were heard. Moments later, the group noticed that Matute had been shot to the back. He was transported to the Western Regional Hospital, where he succumbed to his injuries while undergoing surgery. Wade was shot to the right foot. He too was transported to the Western Regional Hospital for treatment. The area where the shooting occurred is a popular swimming location in the village. Today's deadly attack on the lives of these teenagers led to strong police presence in the community this afternoon. No official information has been released as to a motive. The Belize Youth Movement Cayo Central branch issued a release in the wake of the murder, condemning violence against youth. The release says, quote, BYM Cayo Central emphasizes the need for community-based program that can keep our fellow residents out of crime and homicide in Belize. This incident is one of many that occur frequently in our community, and we as youth are the only ones who can unite and stop violence against other youth, unquote. BYM Cayo Central offered its condolences to the family of the deceased. We will have more for you on this in tomorrow's newscast. The result of a post-mortem examination is still pending in the death of 35-year-old Elric Lee Virus. His body was discovered on Tuesday evening near Montego Bay Key, located approximately 8 miles north of Belize City, and one day after he was reported missing by a fisherman with whom he traveled to the private island last Friday. While there were no visible signs of injury on the body, today News 5 spoke with his mother, who believes that her son may have been involved in drugs.
It is a sad day for the family of Elric Lee Virus. His body was discovered after 4 p.m. on Tuesday in the vicinity of Montego Bay Key by a search team consisting of personnel from the Belize Coast Guard and the Belize Police Department.
Whenever they request, we work hand in hand, whatever assistance they may need transportation-wise, even if it's an ongoing search until we reveal it to be successful in whatever case it may be. That's what we do. We always work hand in hand with each department. The OC, CIB, and I coordinated a joint search, and we departed headquarters at 1340 hours, and within 2 hours of our search at 1630 hours in the area of Key Chapel, between Key Chapel and Hicks Key, the motionless body of Mr. Elric Virus was found in the water by some shrubs.
Virus, a 35-year-old father of 1, reportedly left Belize City on Friday, February 17th, in the company of Douglas Gill, a fisherman from Conchal Bay, on board a boat named Young Lion. Gill reported him missing on Monday, stating that he last saw Virus alive on Sunday morning, walking on the island. The deceased lived with his mother, Idoli Virus, at the family home on Jasmine Street in the St. Martin's area.
I just left speechless, in space, couldn't say nothing, never know what to say. I still don't know what to say. I don't.
When
my baby and me and he live together in the house back there. I got 2 other sons in the front, and me and him in the back.
When was the last time that you saw him?
I even know. I think I'm left in the bed when I come out, then gone. When I gone out, I come back, then gone about them business.
The grieving mother blames herself for Elric's death, sharing with News 5 that her son may have been caught up with drugs.
I meet it in the house and I never make police come arrest me for nothing like that, as I throw it in the garbage. Because I don't know that, and the father not that. The father me a CIB man. He was a cop before he died. He came back from war, and they say he get hooked up with wire or something. That's why I hear talking, I don't know. So if he never gone back, maybe he'd have missed there today.
Lieutenant Junior Grade Melissa Jones, Operations Officer at the Belize Coast Guard, says that the Montego Bay area is not really considered a hotspot for criminal activity.
Well, of lately, it has not been an area of concern for us. Our primary area of concern would have been in the past the north, Morkey Chapel, which we had in ongoing intelligence of refueling for criminal elements such as drug vessel. However, during that time, we have still not have that area been known as we disregarded it, but we still do whatever patrol within the area just to maintain our security presence within that area.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
The Embassy of Belize in Mexico is investigating reports of a Belizean woman gone missing in Tijuana. A Belize City family reportedly informed the embassy that they received information suggesting that their relative was shot and killed in Tijuana during a robbery at a gas station. The woman is said to have been residing in Tijuana for some time along with her husband and children. Since receiving the information, Ambassador Oscar Arnold has been using every channel available to look into those reports. But so far, the embassy has come up empty-handed. According to Ambassador Arnold, their attempts to locate the husband of the missing woman have also proved futile. Today he gave us some insight into what he says has been causing many sleepless nights at the embassy.
That incident, again, is an incident that has been causing us many sleepless nights. For example, any Belizean that is held or detained or that is injured is of importance to us. But the conflicting information, whenever we contact, whatever information the family provides, whenever we're contacted that police station or the morgue in the area, they don't have anyone that is a Jane Doe or that they can't identify. I was sent also the story that was on one of the news outlets in Tijuana. Again, I think 2 other individuals were injured during that incident. We understand that the female in that incident did perish, did lose her life, but we have not been able to concretely ascertain whether that individual is a Belizean. That brings me to a point that we urge everyone. We've been urging our students, travelers who will be here in excess of maybe a week, to try to register, to try to call in, send an email to the embassy so that we know what area of Mexico you are located, which makes it a little bit easier in the event we have to try to contact authorities if there is something that takes place. Daily, we've been in contact with different police stations in Tijuana. It's not if you do the research, you would understand that Tijuana is not an easy place. There are in excess of 2 million people living in Tijuana. The government resources on the Mexican side are very stretched because of the activities that take place in that area. It's an area where many migrants also choose to cross into the U.S. And so the difficulty we've been having is that we've had to look at different areas in Tijuana to try to find out if there is a unidentified body, female body.
27-year-old Barkley Allen Jr., a resident of Orange Walk Town who is believed to be mentally challenged, appeared in the magistrate's court in Belize City today, where he was arraigned for arson, harm, and breach of a protection order. Allen is accused of burning down his grandmother's residence in Orange Walk on February 16th. The property belonging to Bernadette Allen was a mobile trailer home. It is further alleged that Allen breached a protection order that was issued against him on December 5th, 2022. Since no plea was taken from him, Allen was read 3 charges and was subsequently asked by Senior Magistrate Baha Showman whether he understood them. The prosecutor then requested that the court order a psychiatric evaluation to be conducted on Allen. For the time being, he has been denied bail and is on remand at the Belize Central Prison pending the outcome of the evaluation. After the break, Green Climate Fund approves $3 million grant for NAPS. We'll tell you about that, but first, here's the weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
Welcome to Brody's Pharmacy,
where our trained and licensed pharmacists have been serving the public for over 100 years.
Thank you. Brody's Pharmacy has the widest selection of vitamins and supplements that I need.
It's our mission to supply all your prescription needs. We take pride in our fast, friendly, and professional prescription services.
I am amazed at how professional these pharmacists are.
We are agents of all leading brands such as Fitzroy, Johnson, Dank, Carlisle, Quality Choice, Sophia, Pfizer, Dynarex, and so much more.
They have the highest quality medication in the country. We keep coming to Brody's Pharmacy because of the extra care and attention we always receive here.
Excuse me, sir, can I help you with that?
Thank you, young man. See where we shop at Brody's Pharmacy?
We have 3 convenient locations in Belmopan, Belize City Albert Street, and 2.5 miles Philip Olson Highway. We also offer wholesale services on all our medication. Come on over to Brody's Pharmacy for service, value, and satisfaction. Your health is our priority.
On behalf of the Social Security Board, I extend our deepest gratitude for taking the opportunity offered to be a part of this amazing learning experience. Today, you graduate empowered with knowledge. You graduate with a new skill set that you can put to good use and benefit from it. You have now acquired the knowledge and you are fully prepared to build on the foundation that you have fostered.
We consider ourselves privileged to be offered an opportunity by the Belize Social Security Board to partner with them in this effort.
What I can say is that I'm happy because I'm learning in something that I choose to do.
So we want to thank Social Security Board to provide the funding for that, and we appreciate it, and we hope they continue to provide opportunities like this for more people. Thank you.
Once again, congratulations to the January 2023 cohort Empowering You participants. On behalf of the Social Security Board, I wish you nothing but the very best. Empowering You!
Hola usuario de eCash, la aplicación eCash está disponible en español. Cambiar el idioma de tu aplicación de eCash de inglés a español es rápido y sencillo. Déjame mostrarte cómo se hace. Primero, abre tu aplicación eCash. Introduce tu PIN. Toca el icono More en la parte inferior de tu pantalla. Selecciona Security. Selecciona Language. Y luego selecciona Spanish. Vuelve a introducir tu PIN y ya está. Tu aplicación de eCash está ahora en español y puedes seguir disfrutando de tu cartera digital eCash. La aplicación eCash de Belize Bank te hace la vida más fácil.
In 2018, before I was diagnosed with cervical 4A, stage 4A cancer. First, it was at the size of a grapefruit. That's what the doctor told me. No? The kidney got enlarged. I couldn't do any chemotherapy because of the kidney, so I had to do only radiation. And I did my first session of 25, and then when I finished with the 25 sessions, I went back. She checked it, and she saw 4 centimeters, and I went back for the next 10 days, and after that, when she checked it again, she said, oh, it's like nothing is there. It wasn't painful, but it's a machine that you go under, and they have like a big, like a circular, and that goes 5 times. It'll take 5 minutes. 5 minutes to do the radiation, 1 session. Then you go back the next morning, another session. Well, I personally will highly recommend Galenia Hospital because of its good services, friendly staff, the doctors, very caring. Well, I just want to thank them for everything that they have done for me, you know, the staff and the doctor, especially Dr. Jamie, because she was my doctor for the radiation. No?
Do you have information about a crime or a fugitive in our community? You can submit a tip anonymously with your smartphone. Using this program in safeguarding our community also protects your identity, keeping you out of the court system, and could earn you a cash reward. Here is how it works. Download the free P3 Tips app from the Apple Store or Android Market. P3 is the provider of our secure anonymous tip collecting software. Open the app and create a PIN, but be sure to remember that number, then select your location. Next, select the type of crime. When submitting a tip, be as specific as possible. If you have a picture, video or audio that will help officers, you can upload them from your phone. Information leading to an arrest can earn you a cash reward of up to $1,000. Once your tip is submitted, you'll be given a tip ID and password. Check back if your tip leads to an arrest. You'll be told how much you were rewarded and how to anonymously collect your cash.
Environmentally degradable plastics, or EDP, are plastics that are affected by a combination of environmental conditions that cause the plastic to break down within an acceptable time frame. They are specifically designed to degrade into carbon dioxide, water, and other biomass substances. The level of breakdown can vary based on standard test methods appropriate to the plastic. Click on the link below to see what you can do to help end the nightmare of single-use plastics. I'm Alison Castillo, and now you know.
You know the saying, desperate times call for desperate measures. What do you do when you get to a dead end? Sometimes life just doesn't go the way we planned it to go. And when you're in those seasons of life, what do? Where do you go? Who do you turn to? Join Sagebrush Church as we begin our series, Dead End Desperation, where we'll talk about following God in some of the hardest moments of our lives. Be sure to visit sagebrush.church or download the Sagebrush app for locations, service times, and more.
Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Leo Messi! What an incredible strike from Leo Messi! Neymar and Messi is standing over this. Messi! Off goal! What a goal from Leo
Great entertainment stays with you, and we bring you great entertainment. Next Gen, the ultimate digital experience.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Marion Ali, Paul Lopez,
Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes, go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
The International Monetary Fund has presented its concluding statements following a recent 2023 Article 4 mission to Belize. The IMF reports that economic activity has rebounded strongly from the COVID-19 pandemic. However, inflation has risen from 3.2% in 2021 to 6.3% in 2022. The statement also mentions that government has received a sizable reduction in public debt and the primary balance is projected to remain in surplus in fiscal year 2022 despite the fuel tax cut as well as costs arising from Hurricane Lisa. Elsewhere in the statement, the IMF also warns that the central bank must remain vigilant about risks in the financial sector. The regulator's process for strengthening the balance sheets of banks as well as resolving problem loans in the wake of the pandemic has been well executed, notwithstanding some banks being placed under enhanced supervision. Nonetheless, banks remain vulnerable to shocks and some institutions may require recapitalization in 2023 should the quality of their loan portfolios continue to deteriorate. Earlier today, the Department of the Environment released a public notice informing of an amendment to the existing environmental impact assessment regulations. But is the revision of statutory instrument number 23 of 2023 constitutional, considering that changes to the composition of a tribunal tasked with reviewing an appeal by Waterloo are being done halfway through that process? The initial guidelines enshrined in the Constitution supported the appointment of the business senator to the tribunal, a magistrate appointed by the chief magistrate, or a judge nominated by the Chief Justice as the tribunal's chair. The other would be a person appointed by the minister with academic training in an environmental field. However, the effect of the amended SI essentially gives the Minister of Sustainable Development the power to choose 2 representatives, now including an individual representing the private sector. As it stood, the minister was only allowed to select 1 member of the tribunal. Furthermore, News 5 understands that Senator Kevin Herrera, who represents the private sector, has been removed from the tribunal, presumably because his sibling, Alan Herrera, is Waterloo's advisor on environmental issues relating to the Port of Belize expansion project. The release from DOE goes on to state, quote, "In ensuring the utmost transparency and accountability to the general populace across Belize and beyond, the minister has proceeded to amend the environmental impact assessment regulations. This amendment is aimed at ensuring integrity and fairness in the appeals process to avoid any potential conflict of interest, whether actual or perceived," end quote. The latest move is considered grossly unfair to the appellant as the tribunal process has already been initiated. The Ministry of Economic Development is announcing that the Green Climate Fund has approved a grant of almost $3 million Belize dollars for its readiness and preparatory support program proposal for enabling activities for the formulation and implementation of a multi-sectoral national adaptation plan for Belize. It's a mouthful, but what it means is that the GCF is providing the finances so that government can determine what the country's immediate needs to adapt to climate change are. News 5 spoke today with Proposal Development Officer for the Climate Finance Unit within the ministry, Hunter Hales, who says that the National Adaptation Plan will help to guide future developments in 5 key areas.
The third National Adaptation Plan Readiness Grant that gotten here in the country. This is the larger one. It encompasses 5 sectors, so it's called, for short, the Multi-Sectoral National Adaptation Plan. And you're right, it's about 3 million Belize dollars, and it covers the 5 sectors are land use, human settlement and infrastructure, tourism, human health, agriculture, and forestry. And so this falls under the one-time allocation of 3 million US dollars in readiness support to develop national adaptation plans given to us by the Green Climate Fund as a small island developing state, building our capacity to adapt and mitigate the impacts of climate change is incredibly important. But these 5 sectors and the 2 mentioned in the other national adaptation plan projects are critically important for not only our national economy, but our sustainable development goals, our growth, prosperity as a nation.
Hunter Hales was among the representatives from key partners who contributed to the successful proposal for this finance. While the Ministry of Economic Development is Belize's national designated authority to the Green Climate Fund, partners include the Protected Areas Conservation Trust for implementation with support from the National Climate Change Office. Hales says that in total, Belize has received 6 million Belize dollars for this kind of support. She says that projects are already underway for other areas for which gap assessments have already been done.
So this multi-sectoral NAP encompasses those 5 sectors, but under the NAP readiness cap of 3 million US dollars given to us by the GCF, we've also started 2 other national adaptation plan projects, one for the fisheries and coastal sector and one for the water sector. Both of those are currently under implementation. So once those are finished, and then once this multi-sectoral NAP is finished as well, these are all going to be sort of not combined into one project, but they're going to be used to give a more holistic view of all the challenges that are facing these sectors and the intent to provide data-driven recommendations on how to increase our climate resiliency and our adaptation priorities in these sectors.
On Tuesday, we showed you a letter written by former Attorney General Michael Perifete in respect of a so-called definitive agreement that the principals of Portico say was granted to Port of Magical Belize in respect of its tourism development. While the erstwhile AG has gone on record to disavow any knowledge of such agreement, former Minister Tracy Panton, who was a member of the investment committee during the Barra administration, has also denied entering into such arrangement with Portico. Earlier today, reporters asked Chief Environmental Officer Anthony Mai if he was aware of such an agreement. Here is his brief response to that question.
If you look at that letter, that is separate from the EI process. That is speaking to an MOU and or agreement that the company would have with the government itself. So that did not mention anything as it relates to the environmental clearance process. Portico went through the EI process. They have received environmental clearance, and it is my understanding that they are proceeding with the development.
This morning, stakeholders in conservation led by the Department of Environment and the United Nations Environment Program, UNEP, held an inception meeting for the Global Environment Outlook Report. It is a 2-year process that is set to conclude in 2025. But what does it mean for Belize and its future in environmental awareness and protection? That's what we found when we spoke with key partners in this undertaking.
So today we're here to meet with key partners in environmental management. We're here to discuss information in terms of environmental data. All right. The purpose of us meeting today is actually to sit, discuss, and come up with a plan to basically guide the development of the GEO report. And the GEO report is essential for the country because it basically gives the government and the general population a sense of the environmental health of where we are. So in my earlier intervention, I mentioned that it's like a scorecard for natural resources management organizations such as the Department of Environment. It basically tells us where we are with the implementation of our policies, etc.
Our organization is the leading World Environment Agency, and we are supporting since 1990 the elaboration of these reports, both at global, regional, and national levels. In this case, we're assisting technically and financially the country of Belize, in the updating of their report, which was a previous version was done 13 years ago. We are assisting them update and the re-elaboration, reshaping of that national integrated environmental report.
We have, at the Faculty of Science and Technology, we have people who are experts in environmental research, right? So we have our natural resource science, natural resource management program, our biology, chemistry, and marine biology programs. All of the experts in here can contribute to producing this report. We have our head, Ms. Ceci Castillo, who is coordinating all of this effort. So we're excited that we can take part in this. We have, not only are we going to be producing this, but we're going to help to see what the gaps are. We are excited in the sense that we are knowing these gaps, we are preparing ourselves in terms of research to be able to fill these gaps so that we can help to see what the bigger picture is.
Single-use plastics and styrofoam are prohibited for use in Belize. But reports are that there is an importer operating out of Western Belize who is still bringing in the banned materials. The Department of Environment is conducting an investigation and is also in the process of conducting an assessment of the existing materials that are presently in use across the country. Chief Environmental Officer Anthony Mai told us more about what is being done about the pollutant.
We're still waiting. We haven't really honed in on the exact company that is bringing it in illegally, but we are still conducting our investigations. But in terms of the overall activity that we are doing with regards to the assessment, we have collected samples of registered biodegradable products countrywide. I think this week we will send those out to a laboratory in the United States to get tested, and then when we get back the results, we will be able to determine if the biodegradable products that are being implemented are really biodegradable and if they meet our national standards. So that will be the first step. We are doing two things. We're doing a market surveillance, and we're grabbing samples of some of the products to be tested. The market surveillance is still not yet completed. When it's completed, it will give us a good picture of what is in the market, the restricted products and some of the prohibited products that are still available. So we are still seeing some prohibited products, and then we'll develop a plan in terms of how to deal with those.
When we return, addressing long lines at Belize-Mexico border crossing ahead of upcoming holidays.
Your life just got a lot less complicated with Belize Bank contactless MasterCard debit card. Introducing our standard debit and MasterCard Platinum debit cards. Now you can make purchases anywhere MasterCard is accepted with one tap, pay and go. Your contactless card never has to leave your hands, especially in these times. And your card is embedded with multiple layers of security. Platinum card holders get to enjoy extra benefits like price protection, purchase protection, trip inconvenience, and luggage protection, just to name a few. Start enjoying a cashless lifestyle today with the Belize Bank.
Sign up for Smart Share Plan and save big. Whether you're a small entrepreneur starting up your business, a student on a limited budget, or a family trying to save, this is the plan for you. With unlimited SMS, calls, and data, we help you save. Get up to 5 lines for as low as $30 per line monthly, only with Smart. Special offer alert! Trade in your old device and active SIM and get a Samsung A04e for as low as $85, plus 50% off your Share One plan for the first 3 months. Sign up today at any Smart showroom or sales manager countrywide. Now that's love. So this month, get your business going, share more memories with friends, and be ready for the day with Smart.
On March 5th in Belize City, the 94th edition of the Baron Bliss Harbor Regatta takes place off Seashore Drive in the Buttonwood Bay area of Belize City. Come out at 9 a.m. and witness as 6 sailing clubs battle head-to-head for the coveted title of champions and thousands of dollars in cash and prizes. It's a showdown that you won't want to miss, as the spectacular 16 sailing dories from Gales Point, Malantee is back. Come on out and tailgate along the shore, or find that perfect spot to barbecue and imbibe while enjoying the sights and sounds of the Baron Bliss Harbor Regatta. Sunday, March 5th at 9 a.m. Sponsors are the Bliss Trust, Honorable Anthony Mahler and the BTB, Mahias United, Honorable Dolores Valderramas Garcia, Bowen & Bowen, and Mr. Wally Brown. Special thanks to the Belize Coast Guard, the Belize Ports Authority, and the Belize City Council.
A known Belize City car dealer recently took to social media to warn Belizeans of an alleged scam in Chetumal that travelers are falling victim to. According to the dealer's account, Belizean drivers and tourists are being pulled over along the highways and are being informed that their vehicles are stolen. In the process, they are reportedly told that they would be let free if they paid 2,500 pesos. We asked Oscar Arnold, Belize's ambassador to Mexico, if any such reports have reached his office and what Belizeans should do if this ever happens to them.
The last report we had of something like that was last year, September. And that was being resolved. The person who had sold the vehicle dealer, along with the broker, were the ones that were giving or sending the documents to the Mexican authorities to prove that the vehicle was legitimately purchased and it wasn't a stolen vehicle. And that was resolved. What they would have to do, they would have to write in an official letter to the council so that we have it on file, and then we can follow up from there with the authorities. They need to list, if possible, where they were, license plate of the patrol vehicle, or maybe even the badge number of the police. Usually they have their names on their uniforms, that sort of thing, so that we can then officially lodge a complaint, no?
There are several long weekends coming up in the next few weeks, and while many Belizeans will travel to coastal communities across the country for some sea and sun, there are those who will travel across the border to Mexico. Of recent, the Embassy of Belize in Mexico has taken note of an increase in the volume of Belizeans traveling to Mexico by land. The sheer number of Belizean travelers has led to significantly longer lines and an extended waiting time at the border crossing points. Ahead of the Easter holiday, Ambassador Oscar Arnold has been working with Mexican authorities to have that wait time reduced.
Since the border opened up, we've seen the volumes and the number of travelers across the border increased. We know that the pandemic had brought a situation where the borders were closed, and initially there was a huge group of people who were crossing over. We saw that decrease, but we've seen it increase over the past couple of months. There's been some issues with long lines at the border. We've been in communication with the immigration authorities there in Quintana Roo. Over the past weekend, they assured me that they opened up an area where, separate from where you're going to get your passport looked at and reviewed, they opened the area where you can pass with the border card, and that alleviated with some of the wait time or the lag time there. But I also understand that there are some long lines on the Belize side of the border as well that adds on to that entire wait. Some people have commented that they've waited in excess of an hour and a half, 2 hours, just to try to cross or traverse the border. We're trying to see how we can get that done, but obviously you can't forego the immigration inspection and you can't forego the customs inspection. And there is a visitor's card that allows you to access to the border states in Mexico. You need to apply for it. So you would go, there's an office there at the border on the Mexican side, right around in the immigration area that you would go. You would apply for it. From what I understand right now, because of the issues that they've been having with the volumes, and with equipment, that you won't get it the same day. But if you go back another time, you can pick up your card, and instead of going through the regular process of getting the FM2 cards and filling it out and being stamped, you show this border card once it's valid, and then you're expeditiously processed through the Mexican side of the immigration.
Arnold is also warning Belizeans against bypassing the vetting process at the border, as several Belizeans have been caught and detained at immigration checkpoints in Mexico without entry stamps. Up to 18 Belizeans have been detained in Mexico on immigration offenses since the start of 2023. 4 of them are minors. Most of these individuals were caught in communities situated along the U.S. border. Ambassador Arnold gave us further details.
What we've seen since the year began is that we've had 18 instances that Belizeans have been detained and held at different immigration checkpoints throughout Mexico City. Of those 18, 4 were minors. Illegal entry, they didn't stamp through, they didn't have any travel documents, overstayed the amount of time that was allotted to them, that sort of thing. And so we're working with the authorities. We've had a few people who have been repatriated back already, but we're seeing 18 since the year start is on average maybe 2 or 3 a week. And so that is a high number that for us that we've been seeing. And so we want to encourage Belizeans, if you're going to come across, then please use the formal borders and get stamped in and that sort of thing. We have individuals all the way up in Baja California, Tijuana, who are saying that they're just there for vacation purposes, but they either don't have the requisite stamps in their travel documents. For the few that do have travel documents, many times the individuals are caught and they don't have any form of ID. There's no passport, there's no driver's license, there's no social security card on them. And so they would be held, and what would be done at that point, as soon as the authorities can ascertain or can get an interview with them and they say, well, I'm a Belizean national, they would then try to contact the embassy and we would have to do an interview over the phone. There's a form that we fill out. We get information as to date of birth, place of birth, mother, father, that sort of thing. And then we would then have to liaise with the vital stats or the passport and immigration department to try to verify and confirm nationality of the individual.
Ambassador Arnold also noted that it is a federal offense in Mexico to have a firearm that is not permitted in the country, and that persons traveling across the border in their vehicles must obtain the requisite insurance. Last Wednesday, the Ministry of Labor kicked off the implementation of its child labor education tour in Chanush, Sartaneja, Progreso, and Copperbank villages in the Corozal district. In these communities, the village council chairpersons, teachers, principals, farmers, parents, and students all participated in sessions designed to advocate for and protect children's rights. The meetings are also created to foster collaboration with the private sector and other organizations in implementation of the Belize's National Child Labor Policy and Strategy 2022 to 2025. The Ministry of Labor expects that through these sessions, the employment of children in certain occupations will be prohibited and that the working conditions of children in other occupations will be regulated. Furthermore, one objective is to have the worst forms of child labor in Belize eradicated by 2025. Sessions are scheduled to be held nationwide for the sugar, banana, and citrus industries and other agro-industry stakeholders. Up next, church that lost roofing to Hurricane Lisa to get new dome.
Smart introduces real unlimited postpaid plans, providing customers with unlimited talk, unlimited text, and unlimited data. Now that's a real great deal. With Smart Plus, Share 1 and 2, and Enterprise 1 and 2 plans, you can talk as much as you want, text as much as you want, and for the first time ever in Belize, you can enjoy unlimited data with your postpaid plan. So come in and sign up for an unlimited postpaid plan and enjoy limitless possibilities. In addition, other plans such as the Flex Junior, Choice, and Select have been boosted with a lot more talk, text, and data, providing you with the best value for your budget. Be unlimited with Smart. It's time to power your dollar with Smart.
It's Ash Wednesday, and today many Christians across the country took the time to head to church to receive their ashes. The sign of the cross is placed on their foreheads, as it is a holy day of prayer and fasting in most Christian denominations. Ash Wednesday marks the beginning of the Lenten season, which will last 40 days and concludes at the end of Holy Week in April. The theme for this Lenten season is Be Reconciled, and Bishop Philip Wright of the Anglican Diocese of Belize shares the message of what that means.
Most dictionaries define reconciliation as, quote, the action of reconciling or the state of being reconciled, whereby we often speak of reconciliation as that which occurs between individuals. Some of the popular synonyms for the word reconcile, such as aligned, resolve, integrate, synthesize, merge, bring together, harmonize, accommodate, and patch up, speak to a reality beyond simply the relationships we share. No doubt, the primary relationship that comes to mind is the one we ought to have with God, followed by the ones we share with each other as a reflection of our own internal connections. Yet, the idea of reconciliation, in its broader sense, the broader sense of the word, beckons us beyond these familiar affiliations to our dealings with the wider world. In other words, we also need to seek reconciliation with the created order, nature, the environment, with our past and present experiences, with our assumptions and prejudices, our missed opportunities and failures, our losses and disappointments. Lent, my friends, is a season for us to lay all of these on the altar before God, with the expressed desire for a deeper sense of who God is and who we truly are. Neither pretense nor fear needs to dominate our interactions with God or each other. We can begin to live in greater freedom because the ultimate goal of all forms of reconciliation is the fullest embrace of love, of divine love, of God.
Prayers might have worked for the people of faith who worship at Word of Faith Church in Hattieville. On November 2nd, the church lost its entire roof while some of its members sheltered inside. Getting a replacement roof was beyond their means. Head pastor Ed Cardenas told News 5 at the time that they needed to raise tens of thousands of dollars, which they didn't have. But today, Pastor Cardenas had good news for us. Marian Ali reports.
There's still no roof over Word of Faith Church in Hattieville. It's been that way for almost 4 months, since Hurricane Lisa tore the rooftop and sent it flying into the surrounding streets. But Pastor Ed Cardenas never gave up hope, and it seems to have paid off. He shared the good news with us that a church in Los Angeles, California, extended to his congregation.
There was a group of bishops from the Pentecostal Assembly of the World come to Belize, and they pledged to put our building back together in the month of March. We can praise God for the opportunity to have our building back together. If you see, we were fellowshipping our little building. There are little tent That's what we were worshiping. But now that we have our belly will be back, and we'll be so thankful for it.
Since the hurricane took off with a structural cover, churchgoers have had to continue with their worship in a makeshift tent adjacent to the damaged building.
I had to take some of the boards out that was on the other church, on top of the church, and I got some tents from different people that have given some tents, and that's what we did. Yes, we move out the benches, we move our sound system, we try to make it as comfortable as it could be, and we had church there. Church, yeah, and we have church there, yes.
And the services on Sundays are also sometimes accompanied by uncertainty.
Like when it rains, when the rains get wet, so for every Sunday we pray that the weather will hold up, so we don't get wet one. And it has. Yeah. Some day it does, and some day it doesn't really.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marion Ali.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available at channel5police.com, on our Facebook, and on YouTube. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, good night.